All right, 22 minutes before 10 o'clock. Nice looking Monday. I don't think it still smells smoky out there. It was just out there and I didn't notice it. So maybe that was just a temporary thing. Right now, let's talk about this coming Saturday. This coming Saturday, something pretty exciting is happening over at the Ocala Marion County Library headquarters here on Silver Springs Boulevard. And it's the second year in a row that they are holding their book feast. It's the 2013 Book Feast. And if you went last year, then you already know what this is. This is where authors from our area come to the library and sit at a table with their books, and they talk to you, the reader. It's like the books come to life. The actual authors are there. We've been honored and privileged to have in the studio many of the authors that will be there, although not all of them. And, of course, Robin and I speak to authors almost on a daily basis and from all over the world, literally. Where is that coming from? Is that coming from there?
It might be.
Push that button back in so that doesn't keep feeding back like that. And in the studio, we have three authors, and the one thing I think they have in common today, if I understand this right, is that they all write children's books. James Grady is here, and he's going to tell us about his books. He writes the books. I believe Janet Grady is the illustrator and his wife. Am I right about that?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Well, thank you for being here. We'll get to you in just a second. One of your books is called No Haircut. Scary Night Noise is another one. Looking forward to hearing about them. And then Diane Bannard has been with us before. She is a children's author, and one of her books is actually a word puzzle book. I remember Diane coming in to promote that in the past. Usually it's on New Year's Day. You're like
Yeah.
you're like 4 months late today. This time. And then Rosie's Flight. We had a change this morning. We were announcing that Dr. Damone would be on, and we had a misunderstanding somewhere along the way. So Jan Hoag, Hitchcock, did I say your name right, Jan? Has written, looks like a beautiful book for children called Rosie's Flight with the symbol of Florida on it, the flamingo, even though I have rarely seen a flamingo actually flying overhead here. Every once in a while, I hope, is that your bio right there?
It's the synopsis.
Oh, the synopsis? Okay. Well, thank you all for coming in. Let me turn around. Oh, and Janet, by the way, is on the phone. Janet Grady is on the phone, so we'll talk about all of the above. Let me work left to right and start with Jan. Good morning, Jan. Thank you for being here.
Hello.
Is this a first book for you?
Yes, it is.
Is it?
I've written poetry and other magazine articles in the past, but this is the first children's book, which I also illustrated,
And
called Rosie's Flight.
Oh, wow. Do you live in Ocala?
I live in Beverly Hills, Citrus County.
Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I'm there almost every week.
Really?
Yeah. Well, my mom and dad used to live there. They've both passed away, and recently I've been over there just getting the house ready to try to sell it.
Well,
Well,
that's how I ended up there.
is that right?
Oh.
Is that right? So tell me about the idea to write a book about a flamingo.
All right, this is based on a true story of a flamingo, a
Really?
Caribbean flamingo, that mysteriously ended up on the southern shores of England. And no one knew how the original Rosie got there. Rosie
wow.
was a male flamingo. So I lived in England for 21 years, and the original Rosie was quite a celebrity. And I wanted to solve the mystery of how Rosie arrived in England. So I fictionalized him into a her. And she's from the Caribbean islands, had to figure out how to get herself to England because she was very exploratory and adventuresome, and wanted to go exploring where all the tourists had come down to the Caribbean islands. The tourists, she wanted to know how to get up to their neck of the woods. So she boarded a cruise liner. And this is a story about the adventures of how she got herself to England and had a lot of trials and tribulations en route.
Oh, is that right? And so you decided to write it as a children's book.
Yes.
And obviously doing a great job with illustrating as well, so you must be an artist.
Yes, I've taught art for quite a number of years and just finished up at the college here in Ocala recently.
Oh, wow.
We went to Busch Gardens recently, and because we're older now, we didn't ride the roller coasters. We went and looked at the animals.
Yeah.
And when you're younger, you ride the roller coasters. When you're older, you look at the animals. And the one thing that comes to mind is the flamingo area, where they're all over the place, and they got these necks that almost look like drain pipes under a sink. Mm-hmm. It's amazing.
Right.
that they can do that. It is a fascinating bird. I've often wondered why it became the symbol of Florida, though, since you don't see any.
Yes, they're not native to this area.
So I guess it just was
They
a
just
pretty
adopted-
bird, huh?
They've adopted
Sells
it.
lottery tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how long ago did you write the book?
I wrote this just about 2 years ago,
Oh, wow.
and I did all the illustrations. Actually, I wrote the original story I wrote decades ago, but kept editing it and re-editing it, and finally got on the ball and did the illustrations. And once I got those illustrations done, then it was ready to go.
One of my fond memories of being a young dad was lying with a book that was written specifically for children and reading it. One of the things that I guess I experienced, and probably all of us have, is, can you read it again? Mm-hmm. Sure. Can we read it again tomorrow? Sure. I mean, we read these books over and over to our children. So when you write a children's book, it's almost like a Christmas song. It keeps coming back, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to, some of the books that we might read as adults, you read it one time, you put it on the shelf. But children's books get read a lot.
Yeah.
Have you had that joy of reading your book to a child yet?
I have, and I've had some very positive feedback about library out loud readings and showing the illustrations are large enough so that the children can enjoy seeing them from a circle within a library situation.
Yeah.
And I've had many adults just buy the book because they like the illustrations.
So were you at the book feast last year?
Yes, I was.
And did you enjoy it?
I did, very much so.
Oh, excellent. And I'm sure you'll enjoy it again this year. I have some more questions for you about being an author and publishing and all that. But let's talk about the other books first, and we'll come back to everybody.
All right.
Diane, how you doing?
Fine. How
Good
are
to see you. Just pull that microphone over toward you.
Okay.
There, now I can hear you. I'll hear you a little better. Boy, I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, it has been a while.
Are you have you written, let's see, this I remember seeing the word puzzle book. Is this a new one, or is this the same one we saw before?
It's the same one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now this is a different kind of a book. First of all, the word puzzle book. And you last year, were you part of the book feast?
I missed it by days. When I
I think we bumped into you at it, didn't
yes,
we, last year?
I went to it, but I didn't get to be in it.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay. All right.
Yes.
Well, you're going to enjoy
I'm
this.
going to.
People will stop by. Now, the word puzzle book, if I remember from the past, is based on words from the Bible?
Yes.
Is that right?
And this is for any age, actually.
For any
Children
age,
are-
yes.
They can read.
Yeah. But I'm guessing children will
Children
benefit
love it,
from it
too.
as well? Yeah.
Mhm.
Have you done the puzzles with children?
No, teenagers, but not children yet.
Oh, teenagers.
Yes.
Well, that's kind of in the same league.
Yeah, that's
Can I
a
ask you just
older.
to pick that mic just a little bit? There. Now I see you. You're a little bit shy, aren't you?
No, I just don't talk loud.
Now you're talking better. I can hear you better now.
You hear me better.
Now tell me about the children's book.
The children's book,
Yeah.
Hunting with Animals, it's
Yes.
actually for preschoolers.
Oh wow. Okay. Counting with animals 1 to 10. And did you illustrate this one?
No, I did get an illustrator, but I am considering illustrating my own books.
Are you?
And I'm also working on drawings right now. I've been trying to figure out what drawings for each book I'm writing for children because I've got 12 going.
Okay. Now your book is bound with a spiral bound. Does that mean you did it yourself?
No, I did
No?
go to a printing shop.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's self-published through a printing shop.
I gotcha. And is the book available online? Can you get it on the internet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. I probably should have asked everybody that. We'll get around to all of those. Well, Diane, it is good to see you again. And let me make sure we. Gosh, I got a few books from our next guest here. This is James Grady's books. These are James Grady's books. He's got one called. Oh, that's one of Diane's. No Haircut, which looks like fun. Oh, and then there's a Spanish version of No Haircut. Look at that. And then Scary Night Noises. So let me introduce you to James Grady. And on the phone is Janet Grady, who illustrated these books. Wonderful illustrations, by the way. Janet, you there?
I'm here. Good
Okay.
morning.
All right, I can hear you. James, can you hear
Good
Janet?
morning,
All right.
yes.
Can you hear her?
Yes.
Well, good morning. Were you at the book feast last year?
Yes,
Okay.
I was.
You look familiar. Were you on our show last year?
No,
No,
I wasn't.
okay.
I got in by the skin of my teeth last year, so.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really? Now, do you suppose that there are other authors out there that haven't heard about the book feast?
I think there are. I heard about it last year right at the end, and I applied, and I was lucky enough to get in. This year I knew it was coming, so.
Okay. Well, it is a wonderful event, and it's encouraging actually to see the turnout. Last year was a huge turnout. Robert and I showed up late. We will show up late this year too, because we have a thing we're doing for the school. They happen on the same day every year, I guess.
Yes,
right?
they do.
At least these last two. So tell me about your book, Scary. Let's talk about Haircut first, and the fact that you have it in Spanish. That's kind of cool.
I thought that Spanish, due to the fact that the population is changing,
Yeah.
that it would be a book for the people of the Spanish language to have their kids read in Spanish. But it just didn't seem to non-exist.
So how did you come up with the idea of no haircut? And what's the story about?
Well, I have it's about grandson, and those are my grandkids that are in there, and the one, he had a phobia for a haircut,
Really?
and so that's where the storyline came from there.
Was it a first book for you?
Yes, that was the first one.
Okay. And were you ever writing in the past adult books, or will you ever, or is this the genre you prefer to stay on?
I have another
Yeah.
book. We have another children's book in progress now, so that's where we're at right now. It's an experience. I enjoy it. Writing is something that I just picked up and tried to do in my later in life. So.
Let me make sure I get Janet in on this. Janet, what was the experience like doing the illustrations? Did you have to wait for James to finish?
No, in fact, he had to wait for me to finish.
Oh, really?
I took a lot longer than he did, yeah.
Okay, so you work together kind of simultaneously?
No, he usually finishes the story before I start drawing.
Oh, okay. Now, the illustrations in No Haircut, how do you say the Spanish one? No corte?
Yes.
No corte de pelo? Is that how you say that?
Yes.
I'm always careful about saying Spanish words, because if I miss to roll an R, it means something totally different, right?
Yeah.
Scary Night Noises. The illustrations are so beautiful and different. The illustrations are also beautiful in the No Haircut one. The No Haircut one is more like a cartoon, though. Johnny, you want to talk about what you did here?
Well, after the first book taking so long, I thought photographs would be easier, and the Scary Night Noises is my family, my husband and my daughter. So I used photographs, and I changed them a little with some software, so it was much faster.
Oh, okay. Okay, so maybe I got your relationship wrong. Janet, what's your relationship to James?
I'm the daughter-in-law.
You're the daughter-in-law. Okay, all right. So when you saw the book No Haircut, did you relate to the storyline and the reluctance to get a haircut?
Oh, yeah, I know Brent, and he had trouble when he was younger, so it was a good story.
Okay. So I guess I'm getting a picture here. Now, Scary Night Noises, what's that about?
That's about typical noises that kids hear at night when it gets quiet.
Yeah.
And it probably hard for them to figure out what these great noises are in their young life, and that's what that's about. It's about noises that come about in the night that are there every day, and they're there during the day as well as at night, but
Scary.
in the nighttime it's a lot more.
It looks like the dad is showing the daughter a book that she could read at night to calm her down, and it looks like the No Haircut book.
Yes.
So is this what did you do before you started writing books?
My field is I'm an electrician by trade.
You're an electrician.
Yes.
Okay, all right, that's I guess an important thing to know. All right, let's go back to Jan. Jan, what were you doing before you started writing books?
I'm an art teacher.
An art teacher.
I've taught art for many, many years, both in the U.S. and in Europe.
And what's the age group of your students?
I've had, because it's art, I could go anywhere from preschoolers all the way up to seniors.
Oh,
Wow.
right.
I've been in high schools, middle schools, elementaries, kindergartens, etc., etc.
Oh,
Adult
wow.
ed. I've taught every level and practically every area of art there is.
Since you did both parts, was one part more challenging than the other, writing versus illustrating?
Buckling down for the discipline of illustrating, ironically, for me, was more difficult than the actual writing. And it shouldn't be, because I am an artist.
Yeah, right.
But there was some kind of a block there, so I just sat down for 3 months, pretty much a scheduled time, and in 3 months I got 14 illustrations done for the book.
It's very difficult to put your talents on the line, especially when you're doing a children's book, because you know it has to have a great message. You have to have brightly colored pictures, but then you also have to have everything come together in story form. And children, can see through things. So they're the most honest entity in the world, and you had to bring all of that together in your book.
And to illustrate the important points of the copy, the text.
And one point being was that when people are different or entities are different, they get picked on for no reason, and that part hit home with me. Yeah,
Well,
excellent. The swans.
Yes, the trauma of this Caribbean flamingo was arriving on the shores of England and being attacked by the swans. And the original Rosie was, actually, there were two flamingos that arrived originally, and one was actually killed by the mute swans.
Oh,
So I've made mine a happy story that this flamingo survived.
Is that
and
a
had
breed, a mute swan? They don't quack or squat. What are
Mute
swans?
swans are the ones that have the black type knobs on the tops of their beaks.
Okay,
And they can
okay.
be quite vicious, particularly if they're trying to protect their nests and
Oh,
their
I gotcha.
babies.
I gotcha. Yeah. Well, that's kind of the way we humans are, huh? We have to learn how to get along, and therefore there's your moral of your story, right?
Exactly. It's how different species can survive happily together. And actually, Rosie became quite a celebrity amongst the swans because she became a hero.
Well, when you're looking at children's books, I often wonder what sells the book. Is it the illustrations that the children get attracted to, or is it the story that the parent gets attracted to? And in your case, it's probably both.
I would like to think so.
I would imagine so.
Yes.
That's probably true for all three of you. Am I right, Diane? What do you think? Do you think the illustrations in your illustrated book, not in the word puzzle book, but in the illustrated one, the one counting with animals, that's probably the cover, at least, is probably what gets the children to want to know more about what's inside the book, right?
That's definitely true.
Yeah.
The cover makes the difference.
So the illustration, as opposed to like an adult book where a cover might sell a book, but the illustrations is as much a part of the book as the story, right? I would think so. And that brings us to you. Now, Janet, you were saying that it was time-consuming, huh?
It is. Like your first guest was saying, you have to be disciplined and make time to do it.
And where are you right now?
I'm in Wisconsin.
You're in
Greenville.
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a whole nother state.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
A much colder state.
But that's a joke between Robin and I. Robin is from Wisconsin.
Oh,
And
okay.
she uses that expression, whole nother, which is not really a word, a whole nother.
yeah.
So I figure that must come from Wisconsin, that expression, right?
Well, I understood it, so.
And James, when you wrote the book, you were careful to incorporate dialogue from the different ages and the different genres of your characters.
Yes.
Here, pull the microphone over. It's a
Yes.
yeah. Do you when you go to the library on Saturday, do you anticipate some Spanish-speaking children coming up to you? And
I look for them, and that's, to me, it's important. And it seems like just looking at it from the outside, it looks like the Spanish-speaking people sort of let their language go and want to learn English. And in today's world, everybody that gets educated has to have a second language. In other words, beyond me, the next generation, it's going to be important to have more than one language that you speak. If you don't have it, I think you're going to be left alongside the road, because it's going to be a multilingual population that we have here in the United States. It's not just going to be English.
well, and if you go down South Florida, obviously that's more true. If you go up to like on the other side, on our side of the area near Quebec, there's a lot of French-speaking people,
Yes.
even though they're in America. So they've got the same situation up there. And I guess down in the Southwest, they also have the Spanish-English combination going on, right?
I think it's going to be an important thing in the world yet to come. You just can't exist on one language alone. It's going to be something that everybody's going to have.
Unless you have an app. Apps do everything.
Well, that's
Right.
possible too. Yes, you could get the answer there.
Speaking of high technology, do any of you have the books available as ebooks?
I do.
You do? Your book-
Rosie's Slide is an ebook
Oh,
on
wow.
Kindle.
Oh, that's exciting.
Not the Kindle Fire, but the original Kindle.
So when you first saw that on an ebook, was it exciting for you to see that?
I guess, but I prefer the real McCoy, the physical book.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I think that
I
all the
agree.
time too. But see, the other day we were at this grocery store and there was a little girl in the shopping cart, and her mom was, shopping, and she was just reading her little book, and it was an electronic device and flipping pages like that. It was very cool. Diane, I think you told us you're not on an ebook here, right?
Not yet.
Okay. And James, is your Janet's book? Is it on ebook?
No, we don't have it on an ebook. We have it on a disc, which came before the ebook. I haven't got.
Oh,
to the
you're
ebook.
set up for it. Just hasn't happened yet.
Yes, so we have it on a disc is available that you can do it and put it on your computer, and then the child can sit there and either read it himself or have it read to him automatically or her.
Janet, that's
whichever.
probably your job. Am I right?
Yeah, I helped with that.
Well, I really appreciate you coming in. I realize that it's just a very brief interview. For the listeners, the best thing to do is mark it on your calendar for this Saturday. The thing I keep reminding everybody is this is a wonderful event. Ocala has stepped up to the plate and recognized the authors in our community and has given you an opportunity. But it's only a 3-hour opportunity. It's from 11 till 2, so don't go late and don't forget. It'll be this coming Saturday at the Ocala Marion County Library headquarters over on Silver Springs, right here on Silver Springs Boulevard, the 2013 Book Feast. James and Janet Grady, thank you for both for being on the air with us today. James and Janet.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I
Thank
realize
you.
it's
Today's my birthday.
And Diane Bannard, happy birthday.
birthday.
Thank you for coming in. You're as sweet as always. And to our guest who I didn't know was going to come in, but I'm happy you did. I love the book. From what I've heard of it, I haven't read it, obviously. Jan Hoag Hitchcock, you're an inspiration to all of us. Thank you for coming in as well.
Thank you.
And are all the books available for sale? Will they be at the library?
Yes, we'll have them at the library.
Okay.
Yes.
So go by the library and you can buy some of these books. We will take a little break and be right back with Matt Gibbs. This is The Source, WOCA. We'll be right
We're
back.
listening to WOCA News Talk 1370, Ocala's source for what's happening in today's hottest, up-to-date news and topics.
Why are so many Florida residents racing to the Walt Disney World theme parks to rediscover their all-time favorite classic attractions and explore what's new? They got a great deal on the 3-day Discover Disney ticket for just $119 plus tax. And why should you be racing to WOCA.com right now? Because you could win your tickets from the source. So get going. Visit WOCA.com for full details on how to win your 3-day Discover Disney tickets.
Hello all, Joe Martone here for Karaoke Time. You hear me each morning for the segment of Fun with Joe? Well, fun is what I do. So the next time you want to have a get-together...